What is the creepiest glitch in the Matrix you've experienced? So, before my husband and I were married, we lived separately. He would come over and spend time then leave later at night like 11 or 12. He left one night out my front door which has 3 locks, a lock on the knob, a deadbolt, and what I call a hotel lock. It's a lock that you flip the long piece over onto a short peg and then the door can only be open a few inches. Well, he left and used his key to lock the knob and deadbolt, but I thought to myself I have to go lock the hotel lock. I come down and it's locked already. Absolutely no way he could have locked it from outside. I was 11 or 12, early 70s. Dad came home one Friday and announced we were going to Kings Island, a fairly new amusement park, tomorrow. I begged him to let me invite my friend Chris to come along. He said as long as Chris could pay his own way. Great, off to the phone I went. Pick it up, no dial tone. Hello? Oh God, is that you? Chris, I was just calling you, what's up? I was calling to ask if you'd like to come to Kings Island tomorrow, but you have to pay your own way. No phone ever rang, we both called each other at the same time to ask the exact same thing. Had a dream of some kid that I had never seen before dancing in a busy party. He was wearing a blue shirt, black pants, had Bieber hair, and there was a purple strobe light on the wall behind him. Wake up, think to myself, what an odd dream, and carry on with my life. Several years later, I was at my cousin's wedding reception, chillin' and hanging out with a different cousin. Music comes on and we start jumping up and down, and then I realized that I was reliving the dream. Same clothes, same hair, same purple lighting in the background. Do you know that I give you money for uploading my videos to TikTok, and the one who gains the most views in a month gets an extra $1,000? More details on my Discord server, link in the comments. I had an Android phone which had a Google Cards feature option that could notify you like 15 minutes to home if you were out. I thought this feature was annoying and useless, so I kept the feature OFF. After several months of no cards notifications, one night I'm at home and a card pops up saying 35 minutes to home, pinning me at a random intersection on the other side of town. Let's call it First Street Story. I think that's weird. I'm not even way over there. I don't even know where that is. I've never been to that area. I go to my card setting to turn. It back off, but it's already turned off. That's weird. Next night, exact same thing happens. 35 minutes to home from First Street Story. What the? Still definitely not over there. Check cards feature and the notifications are still turned off, so no idea why I'm getting a notification. Few days later, a friend and I are out running errands and he misses his intended exit, so he takes the next one. Once on the streets, I ask, where are we? I've never been over here. Suddenly, a car to our right tries to turn left and crashes right into us. Messed up the wheel to be unable to turn, so he pulled forward to the curb to call a tow truck. We had our kids in the car, so I call my sister to pick us all up. When my sister asks me for the location, I look up at the street signs, First Street Story. Not sure if anyone will believe me or not, but here goes. When I was in high school, my friend Phil offed himself. He did it at a local park. Fast forward 6 years or so and I'm asleep in bed next to my ex-wife. I'm having a fairly normal dream. I was at a store doing something or another. I can't really remember the specifics of the beginning of the dream. What I do remember is running into Phil in the store. When I saw him, everything got super weird. He actually looked like Phil, not like in most dreams where people will be certain people but not look like them. He actually looked like Phil. He looked at me and smiled and said, "Hey man." At the moment, the dream got crystal clear. I asked him if it was really him and he said it was. He told me we were going to hang out for a bit, and after that the dream got super lucid. He showed me how to make stuff and generally we just fed around doing dream things. Suddenly I realized that my dream was coming to an end. I turned to him and asked him if I was about to wake up. He said yes and said he had fun coming to hang out with me for a bit. I don't know why, but I asked, "So why'd you do it, man? Why'd you kill it yourself?" The way he answered chilled me to my core, not necessarily what he said, just how he said it. He replied, "My girlfriend cheated on me, man." He said it like it was a question he'd answered before. Like when someone asked you what your first job was, you responded with the exact same sentence so many times that it just falls off of your tongue effortlessly. Except I had known his girlfriend, and they were the kind of couple that everyone admired. I said, Sophie cheated on you?" His eyes lit up like he realized he was talking to someone that actually knew him in life. He said, "Yeah man, Sophie cheated on me." We gave each other a hug and you wished me well. I woke up and felt super strange. It was somewhere around 2 or 3 in the morning. I closed my eyes and thought, "Phil, if that was really you, I need you to give me a sign." No sooner than when that thought finished, my phone started ringing. It came across as an unknown number and only rang twice. I knew I wasn't dreaming anymore because my ex-wife woke up and sleepily asked me who was trying to call me so late. To this day, when I think about that story, I get chills. I was sitting on my porch and had my debit card on the table in front of me. I went inside to get something to drink, patio furniture in sight, and a 6-foot privacy fence around the yard. I also lived alone. Went back outside and it was just gone. I searched everywhere, inside and out, but couldn't find it. Nothing was withdrawn from my account, so 2 days later I canceled it and requested a new one. 2 weeks later I went out to sit on the porch. Did this every day, and the old card was sitting right there on the table. It just fucking appeared. There was nothing else on the table. It just was gone. And then it was. In college I delivered pizzas to make money. I had a delivery that should have taken about 20 minutes. When I returned to the store, the manager asked me what had taken so long. I asked him what he meant, and he pointed to the computer showing I had been gone for 1 hour and 7 minutes. I don't remember delivering the pizza, only turning into the store when I was returning. Before anyone suggests aliens, no, my ass was not sore. I also don't drink or use drinks. 20 years later, I still have no idea what happened. Something similar happened to my ex's dad in the Middle East during Desert Storm. He never talked about it much. Never talked that much in general at all, actually. But once he told me when he and his unit were on a patrol and he, for some reason that I can't remember, went off alone just maybe 50 yards away from his unit in a pretty secure location. When he got back, everybody was in a panic and super relieved to see him. He swore up and down he had been gone for only 10 minutes. Turns out he had disappeared for 4 hours. He also swears he wasn't dehydrated or suffering from heat exhaustion. A couple of weeks ago, my dog Coda came into my room and started to try to jump on my bed, which she was successful of doing after a couple of tries, and I gave her a little nudge to, get off my bed. She jumped down and left. Then I heard my phone downstairs, so I walked down and get a call from my grandma who said she made some food. So I said, okay, I will stop by and come eat. I get my jacket on and get ready to leave. I get my keys and grab my dog's leash to take her. We got in the car and drove for about 10 minutes, then arrived. I was eating and talking to my grandma and things, but when I was getting ready to leave, I couldn't find Coda. I searched everywhere in the backyard, in the front, outside, nowhere to be found. After a good hour of searching my grandma's neighborhood, it started to get dark. It was about 9:30-ish, so I decided to come back and check. The next day, I left and went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up because I heard something downstairs. To my surprise, it was my dog, and at that point, I thought, wait, what? Later, I came back to my grandma's to tell her I found my dog. As soon as I arrived, I told. After I told her about how Coda was home, I thought to myself, did I even bring her? I asked my grandma, and she said, yes, I did, because I left the leash in her living room. I then asked my grandma to watch her footage on her cameras from last night, and there was no footage of the Coda in the street or leaving the front door. But there was footage of her entering the house with me. I went home later. Coda was still there. Until this day, I still don't know what happened. This is late and pretty stupid, but why not? I was once showering, and after about 10 minutes in the shower, I hear something ping and hit the floor. I looked down and saw a penny. I was pretty perplexed, as you can imagine, but figured whatever, I'll keep it as I imagined it could be good luck. I kept the penny in my wallet for a few years in a zipped side pouch. I never really told anyone because it was kind of pointless to talk a random penny I was superstitious about. So a few years later, while at a music festival, a girl in our tent woke up to a penny in her butt crack. We all laughed it off as having a wild night. However, I remembered the penny I had, and when I looked in the zip pouch, I was shocked to find it was gone. I told my friends and they didn't believe me. I think they threw that penny away too. On a Friday, I got up to go to class and had one of those mornings. Broke a glass getting something to drink, tripped over something going to my car, was late to class due to a wreck on the way there, not me thankfully. While at school, we heard about a plane crashing. Something about the wings blowing off. Went to work, went home. The next morning, my roommate wakes me asking if I'm skipping class today. After he convinces me it is still Friday, I get up and go to class, after noticing the glass I broke is not broke. On the way, I pass the same wreck in the same spot. All day I wait to hear about the plane, but it never happens. Ends up kinda a normal day. The next day, they arrest the shoe bomber, and I have wondered if someone rewound that day to stop him and somehow I didn't reset with it. I took a hard news or soft news journalism class in college where one of the assignments was to write an obituary for one of my grandparents. The professor told us to write it on a deceased grandparent, but if all of your grandparents were still alive, we had to choose one. In my case, all of my grandparents were alive. I procrastinated the assignment until the night before it was due because it seemed like a dumb assignment. Scrambling for an easy grandparent to write about, I gave my mom a call and asked her for some basic biographical information about my maternal grandfather, who was still alive. As we were talking about my grandpa's career, my mom couldn't recall the name of one of the companies he worked at. She lectured me about waiting until the last minute to write the assignment because it was late, 10:30 p.m. my grandpa's time. However, she says she would give him a call to see if he was still awake and be able to answer that question once my assignment was due the following morning. When my mom called my grandpa, my grandma answered the phone in a panic. My grandma frantically explained that the paramedics had just arrived and were performing CPR on my grandpa because he had stopped breathing and passed out. My mom was able to stay on the phone with my grandma until they took my grandpa to the hospital, where he was declared dead. In the time my mom and I had been talking on the phone about my grandpa's obituary, he was dying out of the blue. At that, he had been otherwise healthy considering his age. We ended up using the obituary I wrote for that writing assignment as his actual obituary. Still freaks me out when I think about the timing. I'm a security guard at a distribution warehouse. Sometimes I have to work graveyard shift. During this time, the only people on the premises is me and a rare truck driver bringing in a late load. Our guard shack is concrete, with sliding glass doors on the sides, no locks, and big windows in front and back. Sometimes when I'm the only person on the premises, I'll see a reflection of someone walking past the shack. Every inch of this shack and the yard is covered by security cameras. No one has shown up on the footage when I see these reflections. If you haven't watched my other videos, then be sure to watch this one. I bet it will amaze you. Or you can watch all our videos in a row in this playlist. Write your stories in the comments, subscribe, turn on the bell, and go to our Discord. There we give you money for uploading our videos to TikTok. You uploaded, you gain views, you got money. Link in the comments.